Hello everyone, Brad Hirsch here, Director of Paddling Programs at Sultana Education Foundation, and currently I am out at Shadding Reach Public Landing on the Chester River. And this public landing is a really cool landing for a really cool paddle. The landing is kind of small, so you aren't going to get a lot of big boats out this way being put in. And so it's kind of like an ideal space for a kayak, a canoe, something along those lines. So Shadding Reach Public Landing is actually really strategically placed right between Crumpton on the Queen Anne side of the Chester River and Millington on the Kent County side of the Chester River. So what we're going to do today is we're going to explore in both directions a little bit, so you kind of get a feel for the choices that you could make at a few different places on the river. A few things to think about for this paddle. Okay, the first is there is no bathroom out here. Okay, the county is not leaving a porta-john or anything like this, so make sure you take care of all of those kind of needs ahead of time. Second, this isn't really kind of a I'm going to find a beach kind of kayak or canoe. Okay, we're staying in our vessel and we're exploring that vessel then. Okay, from here you can kind of see what the landing looks like. You see the water trail marker. This is the landing itself. You can see the road just kind of leads directly out into there. You can see my gear and also all of the other perspectives from the state of Maryland there. And then you also see kind of at this point the limited parking space in this area. Over in the distance you see some great turtle basking trees, and if you look really close you can see some big turtles. There goes one right into the river right now. Pretty cool. So this is one of the things that you can see, especially on a nice warm day like this. As you can see here, I've kind of gotten a lot closer to Crumpton, maybe about a little under a mile north of the bridge that crosses from Kent County to Crumpton. And you can also see here at this point the river starts to widen a little bit, and it like narrows a tad, but then consistently grows wider and wider. And it'll be important if you reach these kind of areas to really remember that the wind can really change like the quality of your paddle. So this is the Queen Anne side. You can see kind of marshy grasses starting to come up. You see some green shoots, and you see some of the older plants as well. Again, in a little bit, this will be quite a bit more green. So I'm upriver of Shadding Reach now, going towards Millington in that area. The river starts to narrow here a little bit, and also important to note is that there are a few forks in the river that kind of lead into little cul-de-sacs. And if you were thinking about kind of having the kind of kayak where you'd have a friend drop you off at, say, Shadding Reach, and then you decide you're going to kayak to, say, Millington, you want to make sure, and you had a specific time, you'd want to make sure that you were following the right path and not getting caught in some really cool marsh, but the kind of marsh that might make you a little later than you thought you would. So you can see here that the river is starting to narrow as we go towards Millington, and you can also see it almost, the forest kind of encroaches on the river a little bit and almost creates a tunnel effect. This continues as and like kind of becomes even stronger as you get closer to Millington. This will help with wind a little bit as you go upriver. However, if it is howling in the exact right direction, it could still be a problem, so keep that in mind. So I paddled downriver a little bit until it widened towards Crumpton, and then I paddled a little bit upriver close to the the bridge that 30 goes over the Chester River on. and saw the narrowing of the river at that point as well. So a few things to think about for this. If you're looking for a shorter paddle, you can kind of do just an out and back in one direction from Shadding Reach. You could also, if you wanted a longer paddle, you could say put in at Crumpton and go all the way up to Millington, or go all the way up to Shadding Reach. Or you could just go from Shadding Reach to Millington if you had someone that was willing to drop you off and pick you up at a certain time. This is a really cool area of the river to explore by kayak as it starts to get smaller, and have a great time out there.